Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very special guest, as you can see. This is Angie, and I'm going to link her channel down below. And Angie is in the beginning stages of her sustainability journey, and she also has a little love of luxury. So we thought it would be really fun to get together and do a collaboration. And we're doing two different videos. So this video is all about, as you can see from the title, it's all about how to begin a sustainable wardrobe and really kind of get into the nitty-gritty of how to shop, where to shop, what you should do to begin, that sort of thing. And then on her channel, we're going to be doing a video about budgeting and about mindset. So definitely make sure to check that out and subscribe to her channel, and I will let her introduce herself now.
Hi everybody. I'm Angie and I have been on YouTube for a while now. It's around 10 years. On my channel, people have seen me grow into who I am today, and I am starting newly to adapt to sustainability and my love for luxury. So that was the best opportunity for us to get together and to create something that will help me and of course you as well to start your journey.
Yeah, so I realized that as we were talking about what we wanted to create, I realized I've never really done a video about the beginning stages. I've always just kind of jumped into sustainability, and I've jumped into it really quite a bit. I didn't really show that much of the beginning thought process of it. I mean, a little bit, but it was mostly just a huge jump and journey for me. And because I'd already been so involved in the pre-loved market and secondhand fashion, it wasn't as much of a jump for me as I think it can be for other people. So yeah, we thought it would be nice to kind of break it down and talk through the beginning stages. First thing I want to talk about is trying to identify the gaps in your wardrobe. I've done a video where we talked about the different gaps that exist in my wardrobe and what I was trying to fill, and I still am working towards that list. I know the pieces that I will wear, and I know the kinds of quality that I'm looking for. And so it's a long journey sometimes to find that. But identifying the gaps, pinpointing what it is that is actually missing, going through your closet and figuring that out, and figuring out based on what you're aspiring to, what's inspiring you, you can really kind of create a wish list from there based on those gaps, and not just pieces that you want, but pieces you know you're actually going to wear. Angie actually has a great phrase for figuring out your style and what should go on your wish list that I'm going to let her share.
Your style is basically lying between what's in your laundry bag and your Pinterest board. Basically, your style is a mixture of what you're comfortable wearing, which is what lies in your laundry basket, and what you like to see and see on others in Pinterest boards, and you pin it. So yeah. The next point would be upcycling your items. We always have this impulse urge when we're updating our closet to throw things or sell them, which is great options to get rid of your things and introduce new items. But as well, you can upcycle the things. You don't have to be a great crafter or anything. I remember after I did the color analysis to know my skin undertone, I figured that I have a cool undertone. And I had a lot of warm undertone clothes, and I wanted to change that. So what I've done is I basically bought these fabric dyes. Just make sure to get ones if it's a synthetic material or it's a natural material that suits this material, and you'll be surprised how much you will get more aware of the item you have if you just make small transition of having this warm color burgundy into a more cool toned burgundy that suits your skin tone and makes you look your best.
The next point is really in reference to our other video, and it's figuring out what your budget is, what you're willing to spend on investing in new pieces, and also what pieces are going to work best for you. So as you're creating that wish list, the budget is a very large part of it, and you should definitely check out the other video to learn a little bit more about how you figure that out and how you make the best budgeting decisions.
The next point is figuring out your style. And figuring out your style, as I said, it's a mixture of comfort. It's a mixture of what you wish to find and you see on others. And also it's a mixture of what suits you best. We always look at ourselves and critique ourselves a lot. Like you see someone with a certain body shape and tell yourself like, okay, I'll never look good in this because I'm never that shape. But the thing is, everybody's shape is celebrated. So once you start knowing yourself, your body shape, your skin undertone, and everything from that part, what's comfortable for you as well, and what you like to see on others, through these three sections, you can really build a style that will last you long and that will help you all the time to stay sustainable with your purchase and be more analytical.
Once you've identified your style, you've identified your wish list, your budget, it's a good idea to figure out, are you more comfortable with buying secondhand pieces where maybe you can invest in something that is a more luxurious brand, a designer brand, higher end, or are you more comfortable not wearing pre-loved clothing? Because there are people who are not, and that's totally fine. Obviously, your budget is going to stretch further if you're willing to go the pre-loved route, but if you're not, that doesn't mean you can't find great sustainable pieces at a variety of different budgets. I have a video all about affordable sustainable brands, which I will link down below. So that is a good place to start. And then there are more coming up all the time because sustainable fashion is continuing to grow. So there are a lot of places to go if you are looking for something that is from a sustainable brand but is going to be new to you, or if you're willing to go the pre-loved route and can save a little bit of money in that process as well.
The next point would be creating a visual board. This helped and saved me a lot of purchases that I could have done fast and in impulse. And it helped me identify again my style, which is the last point. Having a visual board could be very easy as just checking the items you have in the closet, either take pictures of each item or save pictures from your order past on certain websites. Have them all together on one PowerPoint. If you don't have that, you can use something like Canva, which is a website. Grab all the pictures of the items you have them in a paper, print that paper, and whenever you're thinking about purchasing an item, check that paper out. See if that item will fit into this visual board or not, because that will make sure that when you bring something, would I be able to make different outfits out of it from what I already own? Or I would be thinking again, like, maybe I would need to buy this pants because what I have doesn't suit this item I'm adding. It's always going to make you think a little bit more before purchasing an item and help keep your style in line.
Next point, if you are going to go the pre-loved route, or even if you're going to be shopping just online from these sustainable brands, understanding your style and understanding your measurements are both really important. So not only figuring out what you like based on your visual board, but also figuring out what actually does flatter your body and the measurements that you tend to be, so that you can make smart decisions. Because it is always a really big disappointment when we find something we absolutely love and we get it and it just doesn't work for us. That being said, tailoring can be your best friend. You can make something work for you that might not have otherwise. It's easier to go from a bigger garment down to something that fits you than the other way around. So if you're debating between things and between sizes, better to go up with the ability to tailor.
I mean, to add up to your point about tailoring, I remember, because I am a petite person, I am short, I am 5'1", so it was always challenging for me to have things fit me. And I always had to wait to go to a tailor to make sure that the pants just are not too long for me, because sometimes the pants are not skinny jeans, they're just regular pants that are straight legged, and like folding them wouldn't be an option. I told myself I'll have to learn sewing. And it was interesting to see that my mom and my grandmother, they told me that at their time, everybody had a sewing machine at home to make those small alterations. So if you think tailoring could add up on the long run, or you're a person who have a specific body shape or a specific height problem, then maybe investing in learning basic sewing would be a great thing to add to yourself, because it will save you on the long run a lot of money. Which will get us to the next point, which is impulse. We all have this feeling when we see something that we like and it's on sale, and we feel like it's the last chance. I'm going to get it because I might never find it again. And let me tell you, that's a marketing tactic. People who study marketing, that's their job. That's how they formulate things, and that's why they get their salaries. It's very important to learn to take a break. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, or what helped me the most, was to, instead of looking at the item, I open the description of it to check the material, to check the care for the item. Is it something that would need dry cleaning? Is that in my budget? How would I, if I don't feel that the item is comfortable, can I return it? The reviews of people, because the picture of the model on any site with an item would definitely be the best. But when you check the reviews, and I love it when I see reviews of people with their pictures, you would see the item in real when a regular person like you buy it and how it looks. So taking an extra step into checking these things, it might save you an impulse purchase. And that will be just this small step into making yourself more conscious, which will help you become more sustainable on the long run.
So to continue on the thoughts of being conscious consumers and purchasing mindfully and being really aware of what you're doing, not only should you know your measurements and your style and the silhouettes that look best on you, but also what fabrics do you tend to prefer? We tend to forget about that. We just say, oh, well, these fabrics are better, so that's the one that I'm going to go with. But does it actually work for your lifestyle? Is it actually a fabric that you enjoy, the way that it feels on you, the way that it moves with you? I think linen is a wonderful fabric. However, for me, I don't steam and iron unless I absolutely have to, and I really try to avoid that. So that, unless it's something that is supposed to be relaxed, that I don't mind it being crinkly, that just isn't going to work for me. And being aware of that makes a really big difference. Polyester is really easy. Polyester is also the worst for the environment. So being aware of that, right? Being aware of what works for you. I am more willing to invest in polyester that I know is actually going to be dry cleaned rather than going to be washed, because that is going to be a little bit less problematic for the environment. However, I try to limit the amount of polyester, but finding something else that has some stretch, or finding something that is tailored or is a good silhouette for my body that I know is not going to be pulled and wrinkled all the time makes a big difference. So figuring out, go through your wardrobe, what pieces do you love the best? What are they made out of? And that can make a really big difference in helping you make conscious decisions on what you purchase in the future.
Next point is all about mastering sustainability. And in order to master anything and to have it as a habit, start small and don't overwhelm yourself. We tend to see this picture perfect. I remember, because my channel kind of bursted through minimalism in the beginning, I used to see other minimalists and judge myself a lot and say, like, I have to have this black and white wardrobe that looks exactly like minimalists. And then I figured out that no, it's just habits that you obtain. And if you start this habit in one section, let's say your work clothes, if you make sure that any clothes that you're going to get into that category are brought in a sustainable manner from sustainable brands, then it's easier for you to adapt the habits, rather than saying, okay, everything in my closet has to be sustainable, and feeling guilty all the time about what you already have and what you're bringing in. So start small, master the habit, and then it's gonna become easy.
There's no wrong way to start, and there's no perfect way to live sustainably. A lot of times people don't even bother to really try because they get critiqued, especially if you have some kind of public platform. They'll get critiqued by people who are saying, well, but you're also doing this, which isn't sustainable. We don't just go from 0 to 100. We have to work on those steps, and little steps can add up to make a big difference. So figuring out where you feel comfortable to start is a really important aspect.
Also, the category of sustainability doesn't have to be that you start in, doesn't have to be also your closet only. I remember that the first part, or the first section I started transitioning in, was my shoe collection. And I know shoes are always have this glamorous feel of them, that you have to buy it from store and try it on and all of this. But I remember that the first time I found on a second-hand website my first heels, the Louboutins that I had, and having them with the red soles without even a scratch for fraction of the price, those would have been ending up not used. And that is so bad because it's something that required material, it required marketing, it required money, it paid taxes on, and it just ended up staying in someone's closet. Just by having this mindset and transitioning in the shoes, I started looking at every single other category and feeling like, okay, now I'm more comfortable to shop more secondhand or more sustainably in other areas. So I think when you take it one area at a time, it's easier to transition. It's like a one step at a time thing. And at the same time, maybe I'll add from the zero waste movement kind of talks, because I tried zero waste and I failed many times and I was discouraged many times because whenever I moved cities, it was hard for me to zero waste lifestyle. Whenever I moved, because I'm a student and I live in Germany and I moved in Germany so many times, it was hard for me to sustain that. But I remember every single cup that I saved from a landfill is a big percentage in the long run from people who are doing that. So it doesn't matter. And I think we become very harsh on ourselves and overwhelmed by the idea. And seeing people maybe at a further stage than us makes us feel like, okay, I can never be that. But they started somewhere as well. They started maybe with things that were not sustainable at all. And year by year, they transitioned. It doesn't happen overnight. And it's also very important that we know, if suddenly I went to my closet that has things from H&M and from Zara and from fast fashion brands, I take them all and I throw them, I'm still contributing in a negative way to sustainability because I'm throwing things in the landfills. So being also very conscious about how I'm getting rid of the things, like I'm adding them into my closet, is very important because it's a cycle at the end of the day. You cannot do it well in the beginning of the cycle and expect the end of the cycle doesn't matter. It's like a big picture, and we should be able to look at it as a bigger image.
Absolutely. And you also don't even have to start with fashion, right? Some people start with food, with cleaning products, whatever that is going to be. But yeah, looking at the full lifestyle is important. Some people might say, hey, you know what? I'm not buying anything new right now, so I don't need to buy anything from a sustainable place, but I am going to be getting rid of some things. So how do I do that in a more sustainable manner? All of that matters. As you said, the cycle is important. Okay, so I think that is it. Thank you all so much for watching, and please make sure to check out Angie's channel and the other video that we did, and leave a comment down below with any other tips that you have or if you learned anything new. Thank you all again for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in my next video.